Thank you, Mr. Singh. Though it took a little longer time, he explained the nitty-gritties of a VIP coverage and the events like the Republic Day Parade. Putting 52 cameras and controlling from the Rajpath in a highly secured environment is really a tough job. And he has explained everything, how they have undertaken such difficult assignments, and they have really delivered. And last 2 years, it was purely on HD, and there were millions of viewers throughout the world watching the program. And I was even wondering, which he did not mention, probably forgot, at the end of the parade, the Air Force comes with their fighter jets at supersonic speed. And in January 26th, mostly it will be foggy day, and the cameraman has to zoom in and see the start of the aircraft, and within seconds it flies off. So it's so swift and fast. Coverage of such events is really a tough job, and Mr. Singh has got the expertise and experience in this field. I think it would have been useful if there are enough production and engineers here to take benefit of that. Thank you, Mr. Singh, for that beautiful coverage. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving to the next presenter, Mr. John Abner. He is not new to us. Of course, last 2 years we were missing him. But yeah, but otherwise he has been coming for BES EXPO and delivering good technical lectures. He is with Nautel, and we have introduced number of Nautel transmitters in the medium wave, around 33 transmitters in the recent past. And Mr. John is here today to explain and show how these transmitters can be maintained for an extended life. So the topic is extending radio broadcast transmitters life. I leave to Mr. John. He is the territory manager for Nautel for India. He has regularly attended broadcast conventions, seminars, and meetings, and has presented at many events around the world. He is a 50-plus year veteran of radio broadcast industry. Prior to his position with Nautel, he previously worked in sales engineering capacities with such companies as US-based Broadcast Electronics and Continental Electronics. His experiences also include those of radio station engineering and programming. Over to Mr. John.
Thank you very much for the warm and kind introduction. It's great to be back. As he said, I hadn't been here for the last 2 years. I retired 2 years ago and found that to be very boring. So it's back to work and great to be back in India. I've been in this business for over 50 years. And the question I get asked most is, how long will my transmitter last? And it depends on several things: proper installation, proper environment, and proper maintenance. These transmitters, I like this picture because these show transmitters are almost 50 years old. They're Continentals, they're 500 kilowatt transmitters in Taiwan. And I've seen those several times, and those transmitters, even though they're close to 50 years old, they look like they have just come off the factory floor because of the environment, the maintenance, and the proper installation. They're in the process of replacing those right now for efficiency and because of parts availability, but the point is that you can make a transmitter last. One of the key elements is to reduce the nightmare being lightning. Lightning is not your friend. In different parts of the world, lightning strikes can be more than others, and what we have to do as broadcasters, as engineers, not just our transmitter sites, but anywhere today that has electronic equipment, which is just about everywhere, is protect ourselves from lightning surges and lightning strikes. People ask, how much should I spend on lightning protection? Some say, it depends on how much your investment is. It depends on how expensive the equipment might be. And that may be true, but a lightning hit can be just as devastating on a lesser expensive piece of equipment than on a more expensive one. So we always say, at the very least, every building should have protection. As much as you can afford, don't leave it unprotected. This map shows the lightning hits in different parts of the world and the severity of some. The red ones are pretty severe, and if you can pick out India in there, we get some pretty good lightning hits here. So it's very important to protect ourselves in our installations and maintenance of the transmitters. This might show a typical transmitter site where the grounding points might be in the blue. This is a protected building layout. You might want to study it and see the routing of some of the elements. I don't have a pointer, but the feed line coming in goes in and around the building so it connects to a single grounding point. A single grounding point is very important in a properly installed and grounded transmitter installation. All right. Uh-oh, wait a minute. My mistake, everybody. Yeah, all right. Bear with me. Okay. We'll do that one, all right. Now, a way to improve it is reroute the coax so that it allows a shorter path to ground. Making the feed line, the feeder line longer is more preferable than going directly to the transmitter. And the station ground, improving it is critical. You see the blue circles there where the ground rods are going in at the perimeter of the building. So the lightning energy follows that red path, going more directly to the ground point as opposed to your transmitter first and then to ground. Adding a surge protector is critical. You see the surge protector right there at the building entrance? Every building, whether it's a transmitter site or an office building, should have some kind of surge protection in it, even homes. Ground straps should be at least 4 inches wide. Cable should be at least 1 AWG, number one size. This shows a well-done transmitter building. You see the single point of ground down there towards the bottom of the page, and as the ground reference, and everything is connected to it. Going directly to it as opposed to through an audio rack or the transmitter and then to the ground. Thus, it shows your lightning energy going hopefully directly to ground. Ground rod placement is important. Ground rod should be at least 3 meters long, but enough to get down into the moisture, and about 3 meters apart. In some cases, I mentioned getting down into the moisture level. Depends on how deep you have to go to reach that point. There have been some sites where I've seen where they actually, if it were allowed by the environmental people, where they've actually drilled a well to get down into the water, the moisture site, to get adequate ground. That's an extreme, but again, ground rods 3 meters long, about 3 meters apart in such a fashion. Ferrites are very useful. We like using those and wherever we can. Audio lines, the main feeder line, AC connections. Put them on the coax, near the antenna tuning unit, audio cables, on the AC to the transmitter, remote control cables. And in a quarter-wave shorting stub is always a good idea to protect a transmitter, particularly when you're using a modern solid-state transmitter to replace the exciter and IPA in a legacy transmitter, particularly a valve-type transmitter, because you could end up with some arcs or some surges coming back from that tube and go back into that solid-state device. A quarter wave shorting stub is very easy to make. And what it does is it electrically grounds that feeder line, and if that arc would happen, it'll take it directly to ground without affecting the output of the transmitter. Many antennas will have a quarter wave shorting stub in there. Here's a well-grounded site. Get well grounded. Put your bus bar at the station reference ground. Bulkhead grounding. You see that on the right side there, where you can ground right at the entrance point to the building. Try to conduct that pulse strike directly to the ground as opposed to through your equipment. Don't run it through your electronic equipment. Right as direct to ground as you can. I'm going to go through this quickly. In the ATU, in the antenna tuning unit on AM transmitters, a DC blocking capacitor is necessary, a static drain choke, and a properly set arc gap. You see these on the base of towers. They should be inspected. It should be part of a routine inspection so that they're properly gapped and not pitted or destroyed. Ground everything. If it's not live, ground it. Guy wires should be grounded for the protection of the people and the protection of the equipment. And when you do making those grounds, try to make those ground connections in a sweeping mode as opposed to a sharp right angle connection. A lot of people think that it's a neat installation if you use nice right angle curves or bends to set up your ground system or connect your ground system. It's almost ineffective in a lightning strike. Lightning doesn't like to turn corners. It'll go more in a sweep than it will try to make a bend. Routine inspection includes everything. Look for anything that looks like it may have arced or been hit. For example, this indication, this here shows that a lightning hit. It needs to be replaced. And if there's an arc in your insulators, it needs to be replaced because once it's arced, it's destroyed. We had installations, we had transmitter sites where transmitters wouldn't stay on the air during any kind of a storm. And it was because all of the insulators on the guy wires for that tower were like this. They had arcs on it. It essentially turned the guy wire into one string of wire. So if it's arced, you have to replace it. And maintain a good ground, please. These are real pictures. These, the ones with circles on them, that's a 4-inch copper ground strap coming out of a transmitter building. Everything is nicely done in the transmitter building as far as bonding goes and so on and so forth. But it goes right to the outside of the building and it ends right there. It connects to nothing. The one on the right, in the center rather, is a ground wire. It's about a number 8 ground wire that's got a clamp going around a plastic pipe, which, as you know, is going to help nothing. And on the right shows a compression connection to a ground rod. It does work, but it does get loose over time. A bond, an exothermic bond, is much better and it'll last a lot longer. Here's a quick summary of grounding. And again, I can't emphasize, ground everything. The equipment racks, anything for safety particularly. The power supply cabinets of transmitters, I recall a story, and if you've been in this business long enough, everyone's got one, where at a transmitter site in the United States, it was in the southern part, it was an older tube-type transmitter, and the power supply cabinet was separated from the transmitter. And when they installed it, they did not ground that transmitter cabinet, or that power supply cabinet. There was a short in the transformer. The cabinet was live, and the owner's son of the radio station touched it and was electrocuted. It would have been prevented if that were properly installed and properly grounded. Another thing that's important is cleanliness and the environment of that transmitter building. Keep it clean, keep it cool. This is one way to do it. This is the old-fashioned way of doing it. This shows a 500 kilowatt transmitter cooling pond from 1932. This would be an ideal transmitter site. It's sealed, completely sealed, and fully air conditioned. Today's transmitters are much more efficient than the past. It makes this job much, much easier. If you do this, ideally you would have 2 air conditioners in a main alternate situation, either of which would be able to air condition the entire building. You might also have as backup ventilation fans with positive pressure, which we'll get into in a moment. Sealing it and fully air conditioning it is ideal, and many reports have come back from engineers who have said that once they did that, once they completely isolated it from the outdoors and the outdoor environment, the maintenance issues drop dramatically. So if it's in the budget, if you can do it, sealing it completely and air conditioning it properly is the excellent way to do it. This shows a picture of 2 300 kilowatt transmitters that are running 24 hours, 7 days a week in a sealed and air conditioned room. Stays very clean, and maintenance issues are dramatically reduced. This is a typical transmitter room. It is kind of basic. Transmitters in there. On the left, lower left, you see an exhaust fan. The upper right, you see a vent for intake. And what happens here is that exhaust fan is on, and it's sucking air out of the room. And we think that's good, and you're pulling the heat out. But what you're doing is you're making that room a vacuum, and you're starving that transmitter of air. In addition, because you're exhausting air and pumping air out and trying to pull air in, which is doing the transmitter not a lot of good, you're also pulling dust, dirt, corrosives through that vent and any other crack or crevice that might be in that building. So a better way to do it, if we don't air condition, we need to see this first. This is not a well thought out system. That big pipe you see there is actually the air intake. Below it, you see an exhaust fan. The transmitter's right there in the middle, that gray thing. It's getting no help. And it was plagued with problems. Power amplifier failures, power supply failures, so on and so forth. Rerouting the airflow so that air was being pumped into the room and exhausted properly solved all of those problems. So a better exhaust or a better cooling problem is positive pressure. It's a better method, and I use the term paper bill test. So what you do is you go to the transmitter building, have a paper bill in your hand, you open the door a little bit and you put it next to it, and if it's pushing air out, blowing air out, then you've got a positive pressure building. If it happens to suck, that's not my phone, but if it happens to suck that bill in, then it's a negative pressure building, and there it is. And it could use some work to improve the situation and improve the reliability and the cleanliness of the building. This shows, this shows a positive pressure transmitter room. What you have in the upper left side there is an intake fan, and what that's doing is blowing filtered air into the building. The volume, the capacity of that fan is 10% greater than the volume of that room plus the exhaust CFM of the transmitter. On the right-hand side, you see an exhaust vent that allows the excess pressure to be pushed out. Everything else is sealed. You see windows there, but they are sealed. So, let me go back up. Air is pumped into the building or pushed into the building greater than the pressure inside, so that all it gets is clean, filtered air into that building. Designing such a box is very easy. An HVAC person can easily do it. Again, the size needs to be 10% greater than the size of the room and the transmitter. See, the goal is to change the air in that building once per minute. The height above on the intake, the height above ground is important. The closer to the ground you get, of course, the more dust you're gonna see. You see on the in that picture there of those vents. That's a pretty good height. It's about halfway up. Higher would be better. I saw one once, and I don't know why I did it, but it was really close to the ground, and all he was doing is sucking in dirt, even though it was through a filter. Those filters had to be replaced very frequently. So, Positive pressure cooling, in summary, it's nearly the same cost as exhaust fans. It aids the transmitter's own cooling rather than strangling the transmitter. It keeps the site cool and clean by not drawing in dirt. The backup filter and blower box can be on a thermostat. Now, one thing to consider when considering the cooling method of a transmitter building is the outside air. Is it salt air? Are there corrosive materials in the air? Then if they are, you really need to seriously consider sealing up the building and air conditioning it, because those elements, the salt, the corrosion, so on and so forth, once they get into your equipment, the transmitter, any other equipment in the building, it's going to chew away that copper and the other metal in that. We have a couple of sites. We had a site in Korea, a beautiful site. It was 300 kilowatt transmitters, and it wasn't that old, and it was right on the ocean, and they were just pulling in air from the ocean, and it was just chewing up those everything inside that building, and they finally changed it, sealed it, air conditioned it, and those problems went away. Also, another one near a mining site I was aware of in the United States someplace. I saw a 5-year-old transmitter there, and it looked like it was not reliable, and it was, to see it, it would look like it was ready to be dumped. It should have been junked, and because of all the corrosion in the air from that mining site that got into it and just ate it all up. Keep it clean and keep it dust-free. Use vacuum, not compressed air. Inspect it regularly. Check for water leaks. Check for rodent entrances. Don't let junk accumulate. And remove all safety and fire hazards. And keep the weeds and vegetation trimmed. The ATUs need to be inspected regularly too. These seem to be a haven for rodents, so inspect them, seal them up with steel wool and some of that foamy crevice sealer. Don't let this happen, please. This is an AM transmitter site, and you can see they're growing vines up it. Wondering what's over with, that we're having a very brief DRM session in our booth as a presentation of awards. We'll have some snacks there. It's going to be about 4 o'clock here. It'll be about 4:30, just as an update and an awards presentation on DRM digital technology. A very similar one tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock in our booth about HD radio technology. So please stop in our booth after the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. John. It was a wonderful presentation. I think there are many transmitter engineers here who got benefited from that. The present day transmitters, they are all highly sophisticated, solid state, computer controlled, and requires zero maintenance. But the real maintenance factors are what is discussed just now. He touched upon the necessity of good earthing and how to do that earthing, necessity of putting ferrite cores in most of the cable which is going into the transmitter. And also I found it very interesting to have this quarter lambda transformer earthing system. It is really a new thing which I heard of. And the necessity of maintaining positive air pressure inside the transmitter system, and also the necessity of good filters to be provided in the transmitters, and also in those areas where pollution and sea is nearby. So it was really wonderful. I appreciate Mr. John for giving such wonderful points to our engineers. I think you can share the presentation. It would be beneficial for our engineers. We move on to the next speaker, Mr. M.S. Thomas. He will be talking on a different topic, content monetization. He is known to us. He has been with us for a long time. Mr. Thomas belongs to 87 batch of Indian Engineering Service and serving in All India Radio and Doordarshan for the last 30 years. He has M.Tech and MBA in HR. Presently, he is functioning as additional DG program Western region and ADG program Doordarshan Mumbai. In addition, he is responsible for sales and marketing of AR and DD for the last 6 years. For 2 years, he was heading the National Archives of Prasar Bharati from New Delhi and made substantial contribution in digitization and archiving of libraries of AR and DD. And he has also developed access to AR and DD archives. For his outstanding contribution, he was conferred National Award for Best Revenue Generating Kendra in 2019. Over to Mr. Thomas.
Good afternoon to all of you. I'm not getting good response. Good afternoon to every one of you. I think it is a very bad time to address you. And the chapter given to you is more of tough. Let us start from the morning keynote speaker's address that in 10 years' time, the Prasar Bharati should become a 10 million enterprise. That gives a big more challenge for all of us. And more to that, disruptive technology is shaping future broadcasting. Last 30 years I am serving in this organization, and what mode it is taking by seeing the 5G coming into our country, it is making more surprises and challenges before all of us. Content monetization on broadcast platforms. So one side, Mr. George has already explained, but the other side, I am a foot soldier for the Prasar Bharati. I am just representing from the field.
बीवी ना बच्चा ना बाप बड़ा ना मैया the whole thing is that के भैया सबसे बड़ा रुपया ना बीवी ना बच्चा ना बाप बड़ा ना मैया the whole thing is that के भैया सबसे बड़ा रुपया
Everything revolves around the business profit. You know, making an organization a profitable business is the biggest challenge and focus of any organization. That is why I brought in a small clip of the 1976 movie, Sabse Bada Rupaya. Some of you may be recollecting those days. Every one of us think, what are the properties can be sold on a on-screen properties? All these terminologies I learned in last 6 years. I want to start with, when I joined as ADG sales in 2013, one day there was an advertisement, there was an article in the newspaper, one of the political parties got 500 crores of rupees for advertisement. It was the first news for me. How we can exploit this chance? Immediately I found out who is the political party and who is behind the agency behind this. Then I understood, I came to know there is one agency called Madison. Sam Belsara is the owner of the company. Then I got an appointment with him. I went to his office the very next day. Then I asked him, sir, I am ADG, I am coming from Doordarshan. I heard, I have seen in the newspaper from my own eyes that 500 crores you are going to get from one political party for the advertisement. But for a government channel, it was a very big surprise whether we can take a political advertisement. Then he told me, I am flying tomorrow to Delhi to finalize the media plan, but definitely I will keep a share for you. Then I started running up and down whether we can run a commercial of a political party. At the end of it, the story goes like this: we got 40 crores from that 2014 campaign of one of the political parties. All of you may be thinking selling the free commercial time is the only revenue from the channels. It is not. See, it is one part of maybe 50 to 60% of the revenue come from free commercial time. As all of you know, around 800 to 900 channels like BES are running around the industry to get their pie from the advertising funds. It is a very tough challenge, make impact and make cut through into their areas and generating revenue. More of that, in a government setup, generating revenue is a more of challenge, bigger challenge. So let us, from the conventional FCT, let us move to few of the other properties. This may be of more interesting. Product integration. Let's start with the product integration. We have done a program on financial literacy last year. This is sponsored by Association of Mutual Funds. I brought a small clip.
बीत जाए उम्र सारी कुछ पैसे कमाने, परवरिश करने में निकले हैं पसीने।
ये तो सोचा ही नहीं था।
हाँ, ये जो पैसा जमे कैसा यही सबको समझाए। खून पसीने मेहनत से जो पैसे कमाए, सोच समझ सब जमा हुआ धन व्यर्थ न जाए। हो सपने पूरे खुशी से भरे, समय से निवेश करते जाए।
चलो करते हैं।
देर आए दुरुस्त आए, देर आए दुरुस्त आए भैया, देर आए दुरुस्त आए, समझे? देर आए दुरुस्त आए।
This product integration is basically, indirectly embedding the interest of a client in our program. Associational mutual funds came to Doordarshan and told, we want to make a program, but simply telling about financial literacy, nobody is going to listen. So can you make a program without telling there is an interest of associational mutual funds? That is how we thought of a comedy serial on financial literacy, and this project is an ongoing project of Doordarshan Kendra, Mumbai. Many of the clients want, direct advertisement. If I tell I am selling this product, they have a doubt in their mind that it's for the interest of the profit they are selling it. But indirectly, if we embed it in some of the program, that is what many clients call us and tell how, other than FCT, how we can integrate our product in your programs. This is one of the main thing. One more, KBC. If time permits, I will play this.
सुधा जी, ये जो आपने जीता है 25 लाख रुपए, ये हम डिजिटली ट्रांसफर कर देते हैं आपके अकाउंट में। इसमें जिस संस्था को आप ये भेजेंगे ये है खुशी ट्रस्ट।
खुशी ट्रस्ट।
ट्रांसफर नाउ 25 लाख रुपए यहां दबाया, 25 लाख ट्रांसफर कंफर्म किया और ये तुरंत आपके अकाउंट में 25 लाख रुपए पहुंच गए।
In this small video, you might have seen so many advertisements is packed in this. One mobile is shown, that may be an Oppo or some of the best brand in the industry. Then Yes Bank was the sponsor, how they are digitally able to transfer the things. There are so many products are integrated into this particular program. Otherwise, how a KBC can run in profit? KBC itself is a brand. Anybody cannot make a program on this similar set. It is a brand. That brand itself we have to buy. When Doordarshan brought a program KBC for cashier, we have to buy the entire brand itself. Otherwise, we cannot even do similar set also. So product integration is one of the major areas where we can think of revenue optimization. I need not to say much about product placement, mug branding, keeping some product in the set. It is a conventional thing. Film promotion is one of the major revenue generating segment now. Couple show, couple comedy. Most of you must be seeing that. Before the releasing of a movie, they bring all the artists to the set, in which there may be so many things are packed in one of the episodes of couple. So film promotion is one of the area where we should also think of optimizing the revenue. Next is the set branding. Set branding, I will show a small video. Joy sir, please tell me when I have to stop.
बेशक कीजिए।
ये बताओ, औरत का जन्म कितनी दफा होता है?
एक दफा।
सोच लो।
एक दफा।
You can see
फिर
this
सोचो।
Clinic Plus.
5 बार. No, I'm sticking to एक दफा होता है.
दोस्तों, आप मेरी बात से ज़रूर एग्री करेंगे कि औरत का जन्म एक बार नहीं 2 बार होता.
2 बार कैसे?
एक बार वो अपनी माँ के कोख से जन्म लेती है और दूसरा जन्म उसका होता है कब? जब वो शादी करके अपनी ससुराल जाती है. वहाँ उसे मिलती है अपनी दूसरी माँ, यानी कि सासू माँ.
You're right. तो आइए देखते हैं सासू माँ और बेटी के इस रिश्ते की एक अलग ही कहानी.
You have seen the Clinic Plus is the sponsor and this is the set branding we have done.
सदरक्षणाय खलनिग्रहणाय की प्रतिज्ञा लेकर महाराष्ट्र पुलिस सतत कार्य.
Set branding is done, title branding and awards and special events. There is scope for coordinating the award ceremony, the coverage and telecast, special events. Some of the other properties on the screen is L-band and Aston bands. I need not to tell, most of you are aware L-band and Aston band. These are the L-band, L part we have not shown. This is the Aston band. Even 3 strips we can, up to 3 strips we can go. Another area of interest, I see a lot of potential in customized production. See, many organizations have funds in their CSR initiatives. Government agencies are looking for some responsible agencies to have good productions. So we have done a lot of efforts, nuclear, we have done some production in nuclear power corporations films. We have done drinking water, Ministry of Drinking Water. Many of the corporate, even some defense related, naval armament depot, recently we had a production. We are undertaking a production on some of the banking sectors. One small production which we did, I will show you this.
मनोज वाजपेयी
दे दी हमें आजादी, बिना खड़ग बिना ढाल, साबरमती के संत तूने.
शंकर महादेवन.
भारत स्वस्थ भारत.
दो महान हस्तियां. मिशन ए.
धूमधाम से एक बहू को आप अपने घर में लाके लेके आती हैं, फिर आप किस मुंह से उसी बहू को बाहर लेके जाएंगे?
स्वच्छ होगा देश अपना देखना.
स्वच्छ भारत अभियान. मिलाएंगे भारत के उन स्वच्छाग्रहियों से.
अपने घर में 2 डस्टबिन हम लोग संभाल के नहीं रह सकते.
बट ये बिहेवियर चेंज करने का काम है.
तो मैं शादी तभी करूंगी जब आप ये टॉयलेट बनवाओगे.
पाएंगे ये विश्वास.
देखना ना भूलिए डीडी नेशनल पर सफर मंजिलों का.
Some of the other on-screen properties are action replay. Whenever cricket comes now, we hide one thing, Mumbai. It was the, sales used to be controlled from Mumbai. This action replay used to be sold to LIC for last several years. So around 70 to 80 lakhs rupees we get in one cricket match. So we never used to tell to Delhi that this is a property called action replay. We used to sell this. So now I am revealing this, our colleagues are listening to this. This is the action replay you can see on the screen. There is another thing called fantastic moments, super 4s and 6s, fall of wickets, 4th umpire. These are the few other properties which we sell.
इस कैच को पकड़ पाना या एंटिसिपेट करना बेहद मुश्किल रहता है मनीष.
एक अच्छा वेरिएशन था कुलदीप यादव का, यहाँ पे तेज डाली.
We will move on. When it comes to news, this is headline sponsor, breaking news, laptop and mug branding, weather report, time check. I will show one small video on this. We'll move on. Sponsoring, there are so many events and festivals. Every state channels, they do some production against their, on the occasion of the local festivals. like Onam, Vishu, Diwali, New Year, all these events, there is a potential for revenue. When it comes to the new platforms, it is more of difficult now how on-screen properties can be sold. Now, I need not explain this slide because of the convergence and the technology 5G, the conventional linear TV is moving towards internet-based television. So I think all our engineers, I need not to explain more on this. The media penetration in India is moving from linear TV. Fast it is migrating to the internet-based TV. This is one slide which shows in rural 2018, it was 187 million people were watching television on internet. Now in urban it is 291. It is 66%. Against 24% is the linear TV penetration. The percentage of eyeballs watching the linear TV. Content syndication, you know, every channel, it is not only they produce the content and they keep it for the next generation, till next generation to use this content. There is a great opportunity to syndicate content. So archival content, I have done some work in Pasaravarthi to do some of this syndication activities, but still there is a lot of things to do. Territory-wise, there is, Indian diaspora is available in every part of the world. So we can think of syndication of content to many of the platforms, including OTT platforms. I got a telephonic call from US when I was in Pasaravarthi. Their DTT service, they want the content from Pasaravarthi to utilize in their DTT platform. DVB T2 service is very prominent in USA. They were telling how we can make a business deal with Pasaravarthi. But we could not do because of some of the policy decisions. So what I want to say is, we have multi-language content in our custody, so we can definitely think of syndicating this content to various other platforms. Revenue from YouTube, online streaming, mobile apps, all this is a part of today's revenue generation methods. Then a lot of, we have done marathon, Mumbai marathon for 8 years. Afterwards, they have moved out from Doordarshan and they have gone to Sony. So there is a good scope for various sports coverages, awards functions, events and functions. Maybe because of we are not able to deal with such a big organization like marathon organizers to meet their expectations. That is why they have moved out of Doordarshan. Lot of sponsorship. In-house sponsorship and outside sponsorship. There are two types of sponsorship. We can say half an hour slot. Any private entity can sponsor this. We give some FCT against that sponsorship and also some title branding against half an hour sponsorship. There is a provision for slot sale, half an hour slot for this much amount. So they can substitute the programs and they take away the FCT available in this half an hour. Every half an hour we have 6 minutes of free commercial time. 5 minutes we utilize for the commercial and 1 minute for the publicity and promotion. Tele-shopping, odd hours, after night 12 o'clock, before morning 6 o'clock, there are some channels utilize this time for tele-shopping without affecting the channel credibility. If you put tele-shopping at the prime time, definitely it will affect the credibility of the channel. This is the most important slide which I am trying to emphasize. 4 pillars of media asset. Whenever the question of revenue comes, they will simply catch hold of the collar of the salesperson and tell where is the revenue. At the same time, I always promote there are 4 pillars for revenue. The content is the most important part, publicity and promotion. This content and publicity and promotion, both this segment put together should give us the TRP, then only the sales team can achieve something. In between there is one more pillar called business environment. In a government setup, getting a business environment is a big problem. Everybody are a bureaucrat, everybody are a Thanedar. I use the word Thanedar. So with so many Thanedar, getting business is a big challenge. When Free dish was launched. From that day on till today, I am watching so many channels are auctioned out at a rate from 3 to 15 crores. And all these people who have taken the license on our free dish, they are generating revenue in the tune of 100 to 200 crores. That also, it is a pie supposed to come to Doordarshan. That is shared with them because they are on our platform. Many of the people who were advertising on Doordarshan, they told free dish mein dusra channel bhi hai. So we are preferring those channels because their TRP is better. So we should think of how we can optimize our free dish better. Content, that 4 pillars I will take few more minutes to explain. This content still remains the king. Whatever platform comes, emperor comes, nothing matters. But content still remains the king. Consistency, because most of the channel have a fixed point chart, APC, which comes weekly 5 days, 7 to 8. A particular program goes on air. People know by its title. KBC comes at evening 9 o'clock. We know. Doordarshan Sahyadrika News, Batmiya comes at evening 7 o'clock. Everybody are aware in Maharashtra. Similarly, every channel has got a channel driver, and that channel driver is known and recollected by every individual. So consistency of the program is very important. Developing a brand. There used to be a Jayamala Karikram in Vivudha Bharati. Many of you must be recollecting. I brought it, whether it will work, let us see. Sorry, I will come back on this. So Jayamala Karikram used to come at 6:30 in the evening. Everybody used to you may be recollecting this music. It is still there. Still people recollect with this music. So this is what, a branding of a product. Ramayana, Mahabharata, Sunday morning 9 o'clock, we all used to wait because the time was fixed. That montage was there. That montage, music and montage used to echo in our mind, and we never used to forget those programs. In all the private channels, do a lot of market survey to understand the viewers' behavior, what exactly they need. Lot of money is spent on market analysis and developing the programs. Time band building. I already mentioned time band building. That time band building and nurturing, cultivating a time band is the most important of any channel. Publicity and promotion. Many times, we neglect this part. Most, if 1 lakh rupees is the production charges, about 60,000 rupees, this is 60-40. 60% budget is kept for publicity and promotion, cross-channel publicity, outdoor media. There used to be, in Mumbai, when you travel from Worli to airport, you can find 3D outdoor hoardings. Whenever I travel, I think also, why not our channel also should have some of this type of hoardings, and it is very expensive also. Social media and digital and social media is one of the it's the order of the day. We have to think of moving into digital platforms to promote our programs. Go market kit. Sales team should have a go market kit to go to any client and explain. Association on media portals like indiatelevision.com, Exchange for Media, etc. These are all some of the areas we are lacking, so we should promote. Business friendly atmosphere. When I was an assistant director, I entered into a small shop in Gandhi Bagh in Nagpur. I don't know anyone knows that area. There was a board there. A small entrepreneur, small businessman. A customer is the most important visitor on our premises. He is not dependent on us. We are dependent on him. He is not an interruption in our work. He is the purpose of it. He is not an outsider in our business. He is part of it. We are not doing him a favor by serving him. He is doing us a favor by giving us an opportunity to do so. This is what told by Mahatma Gandhi. This is the small person. It was a poster in his room. Today also I recollect, and I'm keeping in touch with that gentleman. This is where somewhere we are lacking. When a client or customer comes to our premises, what treatment we give to him. All this put together, if my child is the most important and very beautiful for me, I always praise my child is very good. Like, that there I dursta hai. It is produced by me, so I always praise kitna acha hai, kitna itra character hai, casting kitna acha hai, music kitna acha hai. But ultimately, somebody has to speak about your child. It is not I keep on praising my child. So there is two agencies, BARC and IRS. They do the measurement and they give the figure. And every advertiser go by this figure only. How many times we tell that our channel is the best, nothing works in the industry. Salesforce. There is a beeline in every agency every day. I had been to LIC few months back. I have seen some 10 channels are sitting there. I went to HUL. I was to wait for about 1 hour to get an entry into their premises. There is electronically locked. Some person will come outside and take you inside along with him. Nobody can enter into their premises. Such a tight security place all these people are sitting. People think how many places you have visited. Give the detail. It is not easy to get even an appointment to an agency. We have to go and wait in the queue. I thought I am an ADG, they will take me inside from the gate itself. Nothing works. I have to wait in the queue. And many people went inside who even came after me because their channel is doing better. So they have been given first choice. And I have been given an entry after 1 hour. At the same time, we told the content should be good, publicity promotion, then business friendly environment. At the same time, Salesforce must be the most unbreakable nut. There will be lot of pressure from all the four sides, but he has to sustain all the pressures. At the end of the day, he is the man who brings the business. All other supporting functions will support him, but at the end of the day, he has to bring the revenue. When he goes to the field, I always tell to my management, there is a tomato theory. Tomato in the morning, 1 taila of tomato, 50 kg he carries. Morning he will sell it for 40 rupees. And he will see the area also. This housing society, gated community, there I can sell it for 50 rupees. Then he moves. In the afternoon, by afternoon he finds the tomato I have not sold more than 50%. So he will reduce the rate to 25 rupees. Towards the end of the day, he found the tomato is also not good. All good tomatoes are sold out now. Becha kucha hai, even 10 rupees all ikkata karke he sells and goes to home. He will not keep it for next day. This is the same. The commercial time, this on screen, it comes only once. At the end of the day, it is perishable. So I don't know what is the reason of keeping it for tomorrow. It is not sellable. So anybody who can hear me, I request there should be some flexibility to the salesperson when he goes to the market. I will tell one John effect. This is my personal experience. I told you I am a foot soldier. When I was DDG Doordarshan Mumbai, one gentleman came to the gate and told, I am Mr. John, I want to meet the DDG and head of the office. Then I don't know who is this John, what for he is coming. But anyway, by listening his name, I told, okay, let him come in. So he came and told to my stenographer, he told, I am from Hotel Trident, I want to meet Thomas. So I told, okay, Trident, okay, let him come in. I spoke to him. He told me, sir, there is a big opportunity. Parliamentary committee comes every year, and never we got a chance. I recollected, it is a Taj monopoly. Every time parliamentary comes, I get a call from higher-ups that Taj is the hotel we are going to have meeting. And we never used to break that. This gentleman told, sir, your terms and condition is my terms and conditions. Whatever rate, how many rooms, anything. So he came to know that there is one parliamentary committee is coming very shortly. So I told him, okay, let the parliamentary committee come, we will see. Immediately next week, the parliamentary committee order came. Taj people, as usual, they came. They brought with a big budget. Then we told we have a small committee. Then we thought how we can break this monopoly. Then I remembered the one John effect. John had come. Then let us call him. He told, on the face, sir, whatever your terms and condition, if it is they are charging 10 lakhs, we will give whatever 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, whatever is there, it's ready. So he developed a networking. There is a relation he cultivated with Doordarshan by coming every fortnightly. He comes once, out of mind, out of business. So we never recollect any face if he is out of our mind. So this John keep on coming to me whenever I take a new entry. Sales personnel in our department, I always give, I named it John effect. Networking is the basic funda. You should try to have a connection with anybody in the field. That way you get business. This John, you know, subsequently he gives me a room. Anybody comes from Delhi, I will tell DG आया हुआ है, ADG आया हुआ है, CEO आया हुआ है. He will see to that he gives the best room in Hotel Trident. So I am ending my small presentation. See this content, publicity, promotion, and business environment. If these three, if there is a four tires of a four-wheeler, if content is weak, थोड़ा गाड़ी स्लो चलना शुरू हो जाएगा. Publicity, promotion और थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा. Business environment, third tire also getting deflated. So ultimately, jitna jo all the weights, you know, it's come on the sales team. This is what I want to mention here, that first, second, and third, all these loads, you know, this is content, publicity, promotion, and business environment. If they become stronger, that all weights will become halka, and the sales team will be able to travel fast and get some revenue. Thank you very much. I have a small, I have a 10-second video.
कर दिया कमाल.
चलो उठो जागो के सबको जगाना है, देश से गंदगी को दूर भगाना है, दूर भगाना है.
Thank you very much for your patient hearing. This is a small, you know, ministry, Safar Mansulonga, we have made a small program. Shankar Madhavan sang for that. I wanted to cut a little more, but I thought your patience may not wait. Thank you very much for your patience hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas, for that wonderful presentation. I think he had a lot of experience in marketing the content and all that he has shared to make it smooth for you. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are 30 minutes past into the time. We wanted to finish it by 4 o'clock. Mr. John is waiting to leave. So, I'm not taking giving any time for the question answer because he already mentioned that he has to leave. We had 4 speakers and diverse topics. It is not on one particular thing, it's a tutorial session. So we had different topic on archive management, OB coverage, extending the radio transmitter life, and finally the content monetization. Let us give a big thanks to all the speakers for their wonderful effort in making the sessions very live.
Thank you. Thank you very much, George, sir. And if I may please trouble you a little bit more, please. May I request you to please present mementos to our speakers as a token of our appreciation. So if I may request George, sir, to please present a memento to Mr. Sunny John, Country Sales Manager, India Spectralogic. Thank you very much for your time and for your such an insightful presentation. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please can we have a round of applause for Mr. Sunny John. May I now request George, sir, to please present a memento to Mr. S.N. Singh, ADG VIP Coverage, Prasar Bharati, for his presentation on major OB coverage, challenges and new trends. Thank you very much, sir, for your invaluable inputs. May I now request Mr. John Abdenor, India Territory Manager, Nyotel, to kindly accept this small token of our appreciation, a memento. Thank you very much for your presentation on extending radio broadcast transmitter live. And now, please may I request Mr. M.S. Thomas, ADG Sales and Marketing, Prasar Bharati, to please accept this little memento of our appreciation for your presentation on content monetization. Last but not the least, if I may please request Shri H.R. Singh, former Engineer-in-Chief, to kindly come and present a memento to Shri I. George, the session chairperson for the tutorial session. Thank you very much, sir, for your invaluable time and your inputs. Thank you very much, George, sir. Thank you very much to everybody who's present here. I hope you've taken something very integral and key points from this tutorial session. We would be meeting and seeing you tomorrow morning with the first session, which would be on disruptive technology in broadcasting, and which will be chaired by Shri Shashi Shekhar Vempati, CEO Prasar Bharati. See you tomorrow morning. Till then, stay safe, travel safe, and see you tomorrow. Thank you.